Sacked on a phone call. No explanation given. No room for negotiation. And no time to look for alternatives. Put your papers down or face dire consequences. The ugly side of IT sector exposed on tape.
We are seeing this, that cost optimization is happening with the company. So your name is part of that list. If you can put on the papers, we'll be treating it as a normal exit.
Within a day, within a minute, and you are asking me to give the exit formalities.
By end of the day, we are asking you to put down the papers. Not,
yes, madam.
We cannot treat it as a normal exit.
This audio clipping has sent shockwaves across the IT sector. An employee's worst nightmare coming true. Proof on tape that jobs are being slashed in the IT sector in the name of cost optimization. This conversation between an HR executive from Tech Mahindra and an employee went viral, forcing the company's top bosses to take to the social media for damage control. Chairman Anand Mahindra and CEO CP Gurnani apologized on Twitter following the social media backlash. Mahindra tweeted, and I quote, "I want to add my personal apology. Our core value is to preserve the dignity of the individual, and we will ensure this does not happen in the future." The audio clip has opened a Pandora's box. An increasing number of ex-employees across companies are coming out with their stories of being pink-slipped.
They will call for a meeting. It will be a dark room kind of thing. They just put up the speaker phone with some other manager, and they will be saying blah blah reasons, and after that they will say that no, we have decided you need to take up this one, or otherwise you need to voluntarily resign, otherwise we will terminate you.
IT companies meanwhile are denying any job cuts, but the damage is done. India's great middle class hope has soured. As India's biggest service sector job creator slows down hiring, the bigger question is, has the government failed to translate economic growth into jobs? Is there a need for the government to step in now? Where are the jobs? Mirror Now report.
Where are the jobs indeed? We've had this conversation a couple of times in the past here on Mirror Now, on the Urban Debate. I'm Fee D'Souza. Good evening. This conversation that has now leaked between the HR executive of Tech Mahindra and an employee who was being laid off. There is no other word for it. Laid off for what was obviously no fault of his own, proves beyond a doubt that this is not about reskilling, because this employee was not given any option or any chance to put forward his case. He was told that he would not be able to speak to anybody. This is just a list that has been drawn up. His name just happens to be on the list, and he will be out of a job by the end of the day. Anyone who heard this clip would have had their hearts go out to this employee, who obviously has EMIs to pay, school fees, a family, a house to run. The merciless, cold manner in which this person was asked to leave by the end of the day was heart-wrenching and shocking. We put out a simple message on Twitter saying we wanted to get in touch with anybody else who had faced a similar ordeal, and our phones have been ringing ever since. Our Twitter account is full of responses. And I just want to point out something. The responses that have been put on Twitter by Tech Mahindra and by other members of the senior management, including Anand Mahindra himself. And I want to put up what came out of Tech Mahindra, saying that we regret the manner in which this conversation was conducted. It was obvious from the conversation that the HR executive had no choice. The HR executive had received very clear instructions that this is what you are to say and there is no other choice. This is not the HR executive's fault. It's certainly not the employee's fault. Why are companies being allowed to lay people off in this massively cold manner? Is there no justice? Is there no reward for loyalty? Are there no labor laws in the country? Simple questions that we should be asking tonight. Massive IT job layoffs and the manner in which they're being conducted. Where is the justice for those employees who carried this country on their shoulders for the last decade? People of the services sector in IT. Will they be given justice now? That's the question we're asking this evening. Joining me on the show, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Krish Lakshmikant is the Managing Director of Headhunters India. Shailesh Singh is the Vice President and Head of People Strong. Santosh Mehrotra is a Senior Economist. E. Raja is the Coordinator of a Forum of IT Employees. They have a PIL that they have filed to the Labour Commission. We also have two software engineers, one in Mumbai and one in Chennai, both of whom have recently been laid off and who have come in to share their story, obviously on the condition that we conceal their identities. I'm going to start with a software engineer who joins me in Mumbai. Thank you for joining us. Please tell us what happened to you, what was the experience that you had, what was the manner in which you were asked to leave the organization that you were part of?
Yeah, good evening everyone. I am from software field and I was working with MNC based in New Jersey. And for the past 4 years I have been working for that company. And since last 6 months, HR has been pestering me for putting the resignation because the indication was very clear that they do not have any opportunities. So the HR started calling me every month and asking me to put down the papers, otherwise we will terminate your job. So I told them that I am ready to get training for the required openings, whatever are there. I am ready to get trained and I have enough experience. I have worked with your company for last 4 years and in all I have got 20 years of experience in IT field itself. So I have worked for multiple MNCs so far. So going to another skill is not a problem for me. I will undergo training and I will opt for whatever the possible opportunities are there. But they said, no, we do not have opportunities. We will give you another 2 months time. And I was also looking inside and outside everywhere for the right opportunities. But ultimately there was no response from HR or the so-called talent management who are looking after placement of the candidates within the company. So they stopped responding to my mails. I escalated this to the president itself, to the president and the CEO of the company based in New Jersey. But there was absolutely no response. And this happened not only with me, but all my colleagues who are working with me in the company, they got the same story that there are no openings in the company and we have no options. And later on, I understand President came up with the explanation that underperformance have been laid off and we have got a massive reskilling program. But that is all bullshit. Nothing of that sort is happening. Company just trying to maintain their profit margins just because some investment company is pressurizing them to maintain some 20-25% profit. They are making huge profits. They are getting huge concessions from government in form of SEZ and all that what we call that income tax and all. But ultimately they are just terminating the employees. They have not taken any approval for me for exit. They have just cut down my access. Even the identity card, the company's identity card which is used for access, that is lying with me yet. They have not settled my dues. I have not got my PF. I have not got my superannuation. Nothing like that. They simply sent the relieving letter on my personal email ID that you have been relieved from this company from so and so date. Nothing else. There is no explanation, there is no reason, and we have approached to Labour Commissioner, Development Commissioner, all, but the lengthy process is, legal process is there, and I don't know how many years it is going to take and what will be our future and our career here.
Right. Let me bring in Mr. Singh here about the fact that the reason why we're having this conversation is the conversation that the HR person from Tech Mahindra had with the employee. When the employee was saying, please, madam, give me till the end of the week to think about this, she said, there is no choice. You have to put in your papers by the end of the day or you will be terminated by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Is that fair?
Is it a question for me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's not at all fair because how anyone can get a job so soon Means for he has to be given particular time, means say 2 months, 3 months of time, and particularly a reason for termination. Nobody is talking about the reason for termination. Whatever the discussions happened between me and my HR and they are not ready to give anything in writing. They will simply say over phone or discuss. But if I tell them, you send me an email that you want me to get lost from this company, they will not write anything. Everything goes just verbal and oral communication. So I don't know what processes are followed by these MNCs right now, whether they are following. On one side they say we are this certified and Six Sigma and all that, but when it comes to HR, they themselves don't follow the process. So how they can expect the employees to follow the processes?
Right. Now I want to bring in Sujay Kantawala, who joins us right now. Sujay, the instances that we're seeing right now, people being asked to leave their jobs by the end of the day, not being given time, not being given opportunities. Is this fair? Is this legal?
It is immoral. It is illegal. It is completely unfair. And you know why? Because these big corporates, they have a war chest. And they have this war chest that they have kept on the side, by which they keep this fund for the purposes of fighting litigation. And when you have an employee who is poor, who possibly does not have any backup, and when he's fighting against a Goliath, then you have this tragic incident. And that is why this arm twisting, actually this is a serious human rights violation. It violates the dignity of an employee. And I agree with the previous speaker who said that yes, give a reason.
Yes.
I accept the fact, okay, there may be a downturn in the industry, whatever, but reasons are the life and blood of every decision. I am supposed to know the reason. Why I should not know the reason? Why there should not be a notice period? There, you follow the mandate. It can happen. It does happen that sometimes there are ups and downs in an industry. But human dignity and a person who has worked for you.
Absolutely.
I can understand if he has conducted some misconduct or something is a different thing. But a person who honestly is working for a corporate, who possibly had offers by being poached by other people and did not, reward is honesty. How can you just throw him out?
The question of dignity, Sujay, when you have someone who's having to beg in this manner, madam, please give me till the end of the week. Let me consider it. It's tragic. What you're killing there is human dignity of an employee who's being made to beg to a complete stranger. He did not even know her name. She was a complete stranger who picked up the phone and called her. Krish Lakshmikant is the managing director of Headhunters India. Krish Lakshmikant, there are two problems here. One is, of course, the layoffs, which cannot be ignored and cannot be denied. Second is the manner in which they're happening and the manner in which they're being conducted.
Faye, we are talking about the technology industry. In the Indian software industry is a global industry. We are catering to US, Europe and other countries. Now, if you look at the entire industry, technology industry, you will find that recently Microsoft has laid off 5,000 people globally, most of them outside US. If you take other companies like Yahoo, etc., all of them are laying off people because this industry, the technology keeps on changing, number one. Number two, this is sort of a thing has happened in the past in the IT industry in 2001 when the dot-com boom became a bust, and similarly in 2008 when the financial, we had Lehman Brothers and Wall Street. Both the times, fortunately, there was no social media. Because there was no social media, it did not come out. So what was happening, what you are seeing now, was happening from 2001 onwards. See, the industry has had a 20-year growth, not 1 year, 2 year, it has had 20 years of growth. So over this period, it has picked up what you can call fat. Take a very recent thing, Emirates Airlines.
Krish, to be fair, are you actually telling me that the IT industry or the services industry in the US, in Silicon Valley, would get away with a conversation like this, would get away with having a conversation, and just for the benefit of our viewers who may not have heard the audio clip, for the benefit of our panel who may not have heard the audio clip, I'm going to just play it out one more time. It's about a minute long. Please listen to it and tell me if you think any part of this is fair, any part of this is standard. And if it is, we have a massive problem on our hands.
No,
listen.
Faye,
One second, Krishna. I want to play this out and then I'm going to come back to you. Listen in.
Which is happening across the company. You are seeing this, right? Cost optimization is happening with the company. So your name is part of that list. If you can put on the papers, we'll be treating it as a normal exit with 15th June as the last working day. If not, we'll be sending you a termination letter. And don't expect any other benefits from the company, including your experience letters, nor the basic salary of the answer notice period.
Madam,
Okay?
see, madam, at least please give me at least till this week. No, I can consider and I will put the exit. But unfortunately,
We cannot give that much time. That is the reason only we are calling up the associates and we are communicating the information.
But what is this, madam? How it is possible for me? Within a day, within a minute, and you are asking me to give the exit
By
formalities.
end of the day, we are asking you to put down the papers. Not
Yes, madam.
we cannot take it as a normal exit. I am not authorized to just give you extension or something. This is through the
To whom I need to approach? Tell me then, at least. To whom?
Nobody you can approach. This is a corporate decision. There is no further change in this.
Madam, madam, see, nobody, it's not correct, madam. See, at least you should have given me some chance to approach to somebody so that I can talk to them.
See, this is from the final authority you got it. From the corporate office itself you got it. What else you wanted, to whom you wanted to go? Beyond company CEO and CPO, is there anybody? I'm giving you time till tomorrow 10 a.m. If you fail to put on the papers, we will be sending you a termination letter. Okay?
That conversation went on for a few more minutes where you had that employee asking for time, asking for somebody that he can talk to, some sort of team lead. He said, my own team leads, can I at least talk to my own team leads? And they said no. He's obviously a middle management senior person. He's not a young kid. He possibly has a family to look after. Sujay, Krish was telling us that this has been happening for a very long time. We're just hearing about it now. But this cannot be compared to what's happening across the world. Would the company have gotten away with laying off someone like this in the US?
No, in fact, there are specialist lawyers who are waiting for this kind of an episode. There would be a multi-million-dollar suit on the company, and that would send the stock spiraling down on one side, and also the company would be faced with suits by other employees who have been treated in this way. In the US, you can't even dream about talking like this to an employee. Let's face it, the problem is with us over here. Here, the problem is that these corporates feel that they can take their employees for granted. They can do what they want, as I said, because they have a war chest. Look how rudely she talked to him. Yeah. This was like an underworld call. 10 baje tak resign karta hai ke thok dalu. That is the kind of a call. And this is the way you treat educated people and hope to get away with it. And I'm really shocked. I'm appalled at this kind of. I can't even think of talking to somebody like this. And this is the way she talks.
Yeah, and so then it brings us to this question. I'm going to bring in Gopal Krishna Agarwal here. What is wrong in India that we allow for our employees and for our workers to be treated in this manner, that no one would dare treat somebody in the West? Why don't we have enough protection for our own employees, for our own citizens? Why are companies being allowed to do this?
No, basically there is protection for the labor market. There has been a long-term demand from the industry and other people that we want a free hire and fire policy. But the government is not going for that, because we understand that the labor market here, there is a lot of jobs are in short supply, and there are a lot of people who are seeking jobs. That this is the problem which has been created out of this situation. And the episodes that you are pointing out are definitely very serious issues. The government has laws which protect the labor market with Industrial Dispute Act, and there are several issues where the employees are have to pay PF, then gratuity. These are the must that any employee who has been employed by an employer at the time of termination, there is a clear-cut law of paying gratuity, compensation, and a notice period that has to be come under their employment appointment letter. One thing I want to know from this gentleman is what is written in his employment letter, the agreement contract that he signed with the company at the time of his employment. If the company has not followed that in point of termination, he has every right to go to the court and go to other labor industrial dispute act, the court of labor laws. Labor law is very strict, labor law court is very strict on with regard to compensation and the contract which the employer-employee has been defined. So he should first let us ask him what is there in his employment appointment letter.
All right. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, if you believe that the Labour Court provides employees with enough protection, let me bring in E. Raja right now from Chennai, coordinator of the Forum of IT Employees. Do you believe that you're given enough protection from the Labour Court, E. Raja?
What was there in the appointment letter? According to the offer letter, has the company not followed that appointment letter? That is a very important question at this point of time.
What is the question?
Whether the company has violated its appointment terms of appointment. Whether the company has violated
its terms of employment. And the audio clip Gopal Krishna Agarwal was very clear about.
The probation period is only 3 months. How they mentioning 6 months in that offer letter?
E. Raja, my question to you is this.
He has every right to go to the labor law.
Okay, you said that. Now let me bring in other people on this panel. E. Raja, can you hear me? If you can hear me, my question to you is, if you believe, if Gopal Krishna Agarwal says there is enough support coming in from the Labour Court, why did you need to form a forum of IT employees? Do you not believe that you have the support of the Labour Court?
Because the Labour Court is in support, but individual fights, everyone is not ready to come in front. Even for this media, people are not afraid of coming out because of the threatenings happened in the company. Even though Mohandas Pai threatened us over the media, you know that, right? If there is no one supporting the forum and if anyone supports, they will not get a job. It's an open threat to everyone. So how people will come out and stand against the company? Whatever the illegal activities they are doing, even though it's illegal activity, it's an unethical activity doing by the company.
You know, I want to bring in Sujay. Sujay, I've just got a tweet here from Ashwin who has said, my ex-employer has still not paid my dues.
This logic will not lead us to anywhere.
My ex-employer has not paid my dues, which runs into a couple of lakhs.
How can you lead this?
Do I have? 1 second, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. What recourse does anyone have if their employer has not paid the dues?
Yes, the law, in fact, is very clear. The law provides. It also, I agree with what Mr. Agarwal said, that you have to also see the contract of employment. But broadly speaking, we have very pro-labor laws in this country.
So if dues have not been paid, who can I approach?
Actually, the industrial court. The industrial court. And if there is a union that is functioning, the union will take up the case. We see repeatedly the Supreme Court hearing matters where an individual workman has approached the Supreme Court. It is only because of a strong union, a strong backup. An individual cannot fight a big corporate. So therefore, if there is a union available, then the union will definitely support the workmen.
No, it is not the question.
And also,
Faye, can I come?
Go ahead, Mr. Agarwal.
Faye, can I come in very briefly? The one thing is, this is not the correct picture. The labor laws are very strict. The owner of the industry can be immediately put behind bar if he doesn't pay the contractual obligation. He doesn't fulfill the contractual obligation. It does not pay the compensation. If the company has terminated in this manner without fulfilling its contractual obligation, immediately labor law court is very strict, and the next day they will send a notice to the company. He will not be able to save the job, but at least he will get his due compensation and the proper notice.
Which is what Sujay was saying. And I also, we have to be, let me just remind our panel, let me just remind the panel that in the clip that we were playing out, the HR executive said very clearly, why did you accept the offer letter? These are the terms according to the offer letter. You accepted it. Now you have to live with the terms of the offer letter, making it very clear that the company had been very careful about the offer letter. How many employees actually read all the terms of the offer letter when you accept that offer letter? We have people on the phone line right now. There's one phone call from Mumbai. This individual wishes to be anonymous as well. Go ahead. We can hear you. Okay, you have to mute your television in the background, please.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I can hear you.
What would you like to say?
Yeah, hi. Well, I just wanted to share my story.
Yes.
So, I had a similar experience about a year ago, more than a year and a half ago, wherein, I work for MNC, which is based out of Mumbai. I'm a human resource professional myself. I was with the company for 4 years. And one of the heads of HR came down one day and he had a meeting with me. And he told me that, we no longer really need your skills and we're looking at cost reduction. So why don't you look out for some other jobs? You might find something better. So I didn't say much, to which he said that I'll do you a favor. I'll put you on a reduction in force list, which is a list that we make at, during the year to take off employees so that you get some severance pay. And, again, I didn't say anything. I just heard him out. And he said, almost I would say in a threatening way, that if you go out of this cabin and tell anyone that this is what I said, I will deny that I said it. I didn't put down my resignation. And 4 months later, I was called in a meeting room as soon as I entered my office. And 3-4 executives from HR, the minute I went in, I knew what's happening. They just told me, we have bad news for you. We have to let you go. That was it. I was given some papers to sign, and I literally asked them, how much time do I have? So they said, you just have around 5-10 minutes. You can go to your desk, not speak to anyone, and, you have to pack and leave. 4 years, working in an organization, all I want to highlight is, if it is so imperative that you have to cut your costs, you need to have a humane approach. When you say you are human resources, I think you should understand the sentiment of the person, respectfully let the person go, and not treat the person like a criminal. And it's
absolutely. But thank you so much for sharing that story. I want to take this to Shailesh Singh. He's the Vice President and the head of People Strong, who joins us from Gurgaon. Shailesh Singh, it's so well said that human resources are about treating human beings like human beings. And a lot of times companies forget to do that. And that is the biggest lesson here, because it's not about what they're doing, it's about how they're doing it and the manner in which, the brazen manner in which they're getting away with it. And they're all doing it together. If you go through the responses right now on Twitter and on our phone lines, some of these stories are shocking.
Yeah, so let me go one step further and say that humans actually not a resource, humans an opportunity. And in that context, or in any context, if you were to look at it, I think the manner in which this is happening is definitely appalling. There are no two ways about it. Having said that, and we work with about 175 different companies in India, I know that this is not a trend. There are organizations who have very well laid out practices of separation with employees. I know of customers who've gone out to find their next job when they have let somebody go or when they've separated from an individual. See, we'll also have to understand that firing as a culture doesn't come very easy to somebody in India, and it's not something which is started happening.
Shailesh Singh, I realize that at People Strong, that a lot of these big companies are your clients and you can't actually be harsh. But let me tell you, we have evidence on the phone line right now, and we've told these people not to give out the names of the companies because we need to, as a television channel, always have the time to get in touch with the company in question and get their response. When we have live phone calls coming in, we don't have the time to do that, which is why these phone calls have been asked to withhold the name of the company that they're referring to. But all the names are in there. There are very few people that are being left out. So if you want to tell me that there is a company that is not doing it, please give me that company's name. If you're sure there are companies that are not doing it right now, and that's verifiable, and I can go out of the studio later and verify that these companies did not let go of a single person, Then go ahead and say so.
No, see, letting go is fine. I think.
Is it really? Letting go is fine? Letting go is fine?
There are a variety of business reasons for which you will have to have people, you may have to separate from people. I think our friend who started the conversation was absolutely right when he brought up that point, saying that skills for the jobs are evolving. Okay. And it is equally the responsibility of every employee to stay relevant for the jobs of the future. And if you're not relevant, you will not find your space in the workforce.
You know what, Santosh, Shailesh Singh, you're representing a company called People Strong. I think that's extremely unfair to assume that any employee will sit on their chair and say, I'm not going to learn a single new skill. I don't care if you fire me. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to get fired. People will learn Spanish if you tell them to, if it's going to mean that they hold on to their jobs. So to turn around, and the IT industry has been giving this story to us now for months, saying people are not learning skills, so we're getting rid of them. I think that's absolutely disrespectful, and it displays a misunderstanding of the Indian workforce. We will learn anything. We are that kind of people. To say that we've not learnt our skills is completely unfair. I want to bring in Santosh Mehrotra as well. Santosh Mehrotra is a senior economist. What is happening in our country is a massive devaluation of experience for cost cutting. All of the people who are calling us are in their mid-30s, which means that they can be replaced, or perhaps these companies think they can be replaced by someone fresh out of college who will work for 30,000 rupees a month. What you're doing is trading experience for cost. What does that mean for us as a country? Santosh Mehrotra.
Well, there is no denying the fact, Faye, that IT industry is evolving, and many other industries are evolving very rapidly because technology is changing and diversifying very quickly, and we're importing a lot of new technologies, which will involve, as you rightly pointed out, that people should be ready to reskill themselves. But people being ready to reskill themselves, Faye, is one thing, but companies have to be willing to ensure that they get reskilled. In other words, they can't throw them out and say, okay, you now go and reskill yourself. Basically, if people are in the IT industry, if the industry enterprises had a plan of action in advance, knowing full well that there are going to be layoffs over a period of time, then you should be, obviously having done an analysis as to what kind of new jobs might grow, you should be planning also to reskill them. So this is point one. Point two, I think, is that there is clearly gross violation that happened in this case, and I think as one of your other ladies from Mumbai said, there was gross violation in her case. Now, companies have to be, I think, taken to task by the courts, and there needs to be class action suits, what are called PILs in our country, but class action suits in the US, where, you know, this is happening on a large scale. And if this is happening on a large scale where companies are being devious, because in this case clearly the company was being devious, because I mean the sense I got was that there was a written contract and there would have been a notice period in the written contract, as Gopal Agarwal rightly said. So why was the notice period not being applied? Because I think the company told this gentleman that if you resign tomorrow, then, you know, my suspicion is that the company would be able to save about 2 or 3 months pay of notice period pay that the person would have had to be given.
Right.
My final point is the following: that you rightly said, Faye, that it is the over 35-year-olds, especially in the IT industry, but not just in the IT industry, who are going to be impacted by the change in technology. And it's the under 35-year-olds by and large. And this has become very clear from surveys that Economic Times did, in fact, and where it is the over 35-year-olds who are feeling the most vulnerable, while the younger people are feeling less vulnerable, partly because their ability to reskill is also greater. Your ability to reskill if you're 40, 50 is also, you know, diminishing. So there are all these considerations, which essentially goes back to my first point that companies have to be leaned upon by government, that given the way technology is evolving, they must have reskilling plans for their own staff. Some people will have to be let go, but that has to be done in a humane way. Where that is not done in a humane way, then either the trade union or the government needs to act.
Absolutely. Let me bring in our anonymous guest who joins us in the Chennai studio, who has also been laid off. Yeah, Mr. Agarwal, respond to this. This employee has been laid off recently by a large MNC in Chennai who has come in with his story. Please tell us what happened with you, and do you believe that the Tech Mahindra audio clip that we're listening to is a one-off?
I agree to the whatever the audio circulated.
Yes. Mr. Agarwal, 1 second. I just want to listen to our guest in Chennai who's going to share his story.
Actually, in my case,
go ahead.
My case, they called for a meeting at around 1 hour meeting. I did not know what is the agenda for the meeting. If a manager calls for a meeting, there should be some agenda for the meeting. The agenda was not circulated. After entering into the meeting, they kept all the papers ready, and he was saying blah blah reasons. And even my immediate boss, who is the appraisal manager, he did not participate. Finally, from the top management, they said that I need to accept. If I am not accepting, I will be terminated, and I will not get any benefits. So it's like a threatening kind of thing by the HRs with the delivery heads. I need to hand over my laptop, all the belongings. I need to take my ID card was called off, and the HR came outside till the car parking area, and from car parking area I went outside by swiping by the HR, not by me. So you know how even I could not able to take my belongings, I could not able to take my pay slips, I could not take my income tax form 16 certificates, the other belongings which I need to claim from IT refund. All this I could not, and I literally felt that is it a corporate governance company with so much of ethical values? What they are saying is something different, like they are saying that they are MBA graduates, but whatever they are doing like local rowdies. It's not a...
I want to understand from you, for our guest in Chennai, tell me this, we had Shailesh Singh who told us that this is about skills. Were you given a chance to upgrade your skills? Were you told at all that this is about your skills?
I will tell you, there is no skill updation by the company, and my skill is originally a different one. They asked me to put in different one. When I asked for release from the project, that was denied to me, so that even I have the mail copy which I can able to prove that I asked for release from the project so that I can prove myself in a different skill, which I know for the past 10 years. I have been put up. And another one thing for the HR organizations, those who are contracting, I want to tell you one thing here. After 35, nobody is not contributing on the technical. They are all managers. Okay, so they can manage any job, not by technical. I will tell you, I was denied for my whatever the core skill set, and they asked me to work on a different skill set, which I proved also. But that was denied, and for other employees also, there was given some time given for till 1 week or on the particular day. But for me, even within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it was over completely. I need to walk out, and they threatened, saying that you need to put up the resignation papers, otherwise you won't get that. And another point I want to say about the financial details, how you accepted. For that also I have the reason. Okay. Whatever the HR saying is, when you resign, at the time you need to work for 3 months and then you need to go out. And when they are asked, compelled or forced to resign, at the time they will pay you, that is 1 month salary, or they have a agenda, 3 months salary they will say, but this is 3 months basic pay.
Let me bring in a caller. There's somebody on the phone line from Pune as well. I don't know if you want to share your name with us, but go ahead, tell us your story.
Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. So my name is Sudeshna.
Okay.
And I have been working with a telecom giant, Vodafone.
Okay.
I unfortunately was one of the employees who was forced to resign. So it went such a way that I was first asked to resign. And I refused to do that. I objected to resigning myself on the system which was instructed to me. I was immediately threatened with the fact that my offer letter says that we can terminate you without any reason. The same thing that you all were just discussing some time back, that the company has made these offer letters keeping in mind that they are going to do something like this. And then when I refused to do that, so that particular day nothing happened. The following day, after discussing with my family, I came back and I said that, okay, if you're going to terminate me, go ahead, do that. My fault that I accepted the offer letter. Then they turned back and said, no, we don't have that option. You have to resign itself. That's the only option the company has. On the day of my resignation, 2 male employees, a manager, a senior manager, a VP level person, and an HR manager sat in the room 3 hours. They didn't let me out, and they forced me to resign. Until I accepted, they didn't let me out of the room. And then, so I filed a case. I filed it to the Labour Commissioner at Pune. They have the audacity to come to the Labour Commissioner and say that my performance was dropping. I asked for a change of profile, and I resigned on my own. Wherein, on the same month, they have awarded me on my performance. They have internal awards, they have cash recognitions on the award. I have been awarded by my manager, somebody who was not very cooperative with me, and still I have been asked to resign.
Right.
And
I just want to bring in Sujay, there are several things wrong. To have 2 senior male employees seat someone down in a room for 3 hours, that borders on some sort of harassment. To sort of get them to resign. The other story that our guest in Chennai was sharing, saying that the HR person walked me to my car and made sure that I did not have access to anything. You're being treated like criminals. There's something horribly wrong with the manner in which these HR teams or these companies are commanding their HR teams to treat employees.
Yeah, in fact, the swipe card also was used of that person to take this person. So this is a well thought out strategy. This is all well oiled in its machinery. It's like a pride of lions that goes after this animal, and then everyone else stands on the side and just watches it being mutilated. So this is regularly being featured, and repeatedly your callers are complaining of the same type of approach where they are isolated and they are thrown out, not given a chance, a single minute to even think about it. And also a woman alone with 2-3 men in one room. I mean, this can lead to other problems. So this is very, very serious, and I'm glad you have taken up this debate, because the kind of response you are getting shows that it's happening again and again on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And it's harassment. I want to bring in Gopal Krishna Agarwal, since you wanted to come in and comment on this, and I'll bring in the rest of our panel as well. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, let me tell you what kind of messages I'm receiving on Twitter. People are saying, can we stop paying the government taxes and use that money to reskill ourselves? Somebody else asks, where are the Achhe Din? Somebody else asks, where are the 1 crore jobs that were promised? Where are we failing on the jobs front, Gopal Krishna Agarwal? A, we are not able to save the jobs we already have. There is a problem in our IT sector. There is a problem in the telecom sector. We're not creating new jobs. We're not saving the jobs that we already have. Where are the jobs?
The question which I have heard of the panelists or the people who have commented here, it clearly shows that there is a serious violation by the employer's responsibility in all these cases. They are very serious, definitely. But I want to mention here is that these are the violations according to the contractual obligation. The government can do is form laws and implementation process through which these employers can be brought to books and corrected. But ultimately, the people who are victims of these high-handedness have to stand for their rights within the law. If they do not stand for their rights, I am not talking of the question is that how to solve the issue. They have to stand for their rights, go to the legal process, and still if the legal process fails, then the compensation or whatever procedures the government has formulated through the laws are not implementable, then they can further come and the government can look into. I appreciate.
No, how will the government look into it? No.
What
My
kind of
question
answer is this?
To know the first-hand issues.
Gopal Krishna Agarwal,
problems
answer the question I asked you, which is where are the jobs?
I'll be brief.
Where are the jobs? Have we managed to save the jobs that we have? Are we creating new jobs? Why is there a job crisis happening in the country right now? Where are the jobs? That was my question, Gopal Krishna Agarwal.
The question, the question of job creation, the government has very categorically said that IT industry and telecom is seeing a slowdown. Earlier, manufacturing sector has seen a slowdown. The government is trying to pick up the economic activity. Ultimately, job will be created through the growth in the economy. Government is doing all its effort to create job through Make in India. The ultimate result will come through not the formal sector alone, but the issue from entrepreneurship and self-employment is the only answer to the large number of population which is entering the job market in the country. And for that, government is creating so many avenues of skilling, employment generation to credit support, market support, technological support. That's the only way people can expect job creation. Government cannot go into PSU job creation, or government cannot force companies to just give
Gopal
jobs.
Krishna Agarwal, are you saying
environment through which law and order is enforced?
I didn't understand any of that. Do we have a job crisis? Do we not have a job crisis? Let me go back to E. Raja, the coordinator of the forum. Yes, the Forum of IT Employees who joins us from Pune. E. Raja, are we in a job crisis? And it seems to me, if I understood vaguely what Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal said, that the government wants you to be self-employed. So start your own business, because that perhaps through Startup India is the solution, right?
The moment you're 35 and you're told by some IT company that you're out, then you start your own.
You start your own business and then you fire other people. E. Raja, go ahead.
No, I think fair in context
for
of that question,
the contractual obligation and labor law.
Actually, how an employee can, who is having... How is an employee having 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs of loans, home loans, children education can go and start a startup?
Go ahead. Yeah, E. Raja, that is so true. See, an average 35-year-old will have a home loan, will have school fees to pay,
Actually,
will have a house to run.
How an employee who is having a...
Go ahead.
Yeah. 25-year-old people were not targeted. Actually, 8 to 15 years of people were targeted. And those people were taken a lot of loans and everything. They were depending on their families there, the parents are there. So they should have some idea to do the startup. So they are planning to lay off 6 lakh people in next 3 years, they say. Okay, now previously they have learnt a lesson from TCS. They have done 25,000 people were laid off immediately. Now they are doing quarter by quarter. They are targeting 3,000 employees per quarter, 5,000 employees per quarter. So they are doing some strategy on laying off people. So there are a lot of job losses will be there. So that's why we are asking government to intervene on this. We have already filed 100+ petition across India against this illegal layoff and termination. In Pune itself, 47 members filed a petition, and we have called for all the companies who have filed a petition. They came for the conciliation meet, and the Labour Commissioner said there is nothing going in the right path. The companies are not responding properly, so you just take the legal path. And he suggested us to take the legal path on that, to file a petition, file court case.
Take a legal path, file the court case. Jyoti is on the phone line from Orissa. Jyoti, go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Jyoti, and speaking from Orissa, and my son working in Bangalore as a GET in an automobile company. And because of his ill treatment and unnecessary harassment by the management people, he is compelled to resign. And even though he has given...
What do you mean by ill treatment? What do you mean by ill treatment? What's happening in his office?
Ill treatment means one of the alternate days he has been asked to work overtime. And the words they are using is very harassed words. And even though he has given the written complaint against his boss, and no action has been taken by the company. and even many of his colleagues have left the job because of this harassment, which is very well known by the company. And according to my son, many of his colleagues has even taken loans from the banks, and still they are forced to leave the job without any of their mistakes. So according to my view, the company might have been kept these type of managers purposefully to sack these. And I just want to know where is the achhe. And nowadays, because of getting the job is very difficult. So can you please suggest any of these?
That's an excellent question. Where are the achhe din? Krish, Lakshmikant, where are the jobs? It all winds down to the same thing. Where are the jobs?
Let me answer that one. I think it's an unfair, and Krish, if you could allow me a minute, it's an unfair assessment to say that IT as an industry is...
Actually, jobs are getting scarce in this economy globally, not only in India. In fact, what we now talk is about a gig economy. It's like Uber and Ola. You become an entrepreneur. So most of us who are now in the 30s, etc., have to look for something themselves. For them to think that they will get a job of their liking, of their salary is difficult. In the last 3 months, I have been meeting people who come to our office. Many of them are in their mid-40s, mid-30s, and they are willing to take a job even at 50% of their salary. But still, their jobs are not available for them. The point is, this is not for today. It is going to be there for the next 20 years maybe. So we'll have to look at jobs which are available over the period. For instance, you take healthcare. That is one area which is there.
And frustrated and angry.
So see, hang on. We've come this far. We've come this far as an economy because of how the services sector grew. We've created an entire generation of people who went out and did IT courses and did IT engineering in order to join the IT sector. And you are telling me now that there is no hope for someone who's crossed the age of 35 in the IT sector. They're just not going to have jobs. I can see Santosh Mehrotra put up his hand. Santosh Mehrotra and Shailesh. Santosh Mehrotra, very quickly, I have only a minute left. Very quickly.
Faye,
how is it fair to say that?
Add one more thing.
No, 1 second. Santosh Mehrotra.
Yeah, very quickly, Faye.
It is also for
may I have been very quiet. Okay. You asked rightly, Faye. Where are the jobs? Well, let me give you some numbers based on the Labour Bureau data, annual surveys, and this is government's own surveys and data. So between 2012 and 2016, about 20 million young people joined the labour force. About 15 million of them got different kinds of jobs, including self-employed, but 5 million were unemployed and are unemployed, which means 25% unemployment rate for those who joined the labour force. So you ask the right question, where are the jobs? Because in the 15 million are included the self-employed. And self-employment is not exactly the best kind of employment. It is not decent employment. It doesn't come with any social security. In fact, if anything, half of our workforce is already self-employed. In other words, that there's no social insurance, no social security. In the IT sector in particular, please remember, this is the organized sector. So few jobs are being created that even the IT sector, even the organized sector is severely impacted, and it's severely impacted because the investment rate has dramatically dropped.
Yes.
We have one of the lowest investment rates in the world, in the country, in the last 10 years. So why should we be surprised that jobs are not growing?
Right. I was just last 30 seconds to suggest, what should an employee do if they suspect that they are on a list of some sort and they're going to be asked to unceremoniously leave the office?
Because what is happening is they are taken in a closed room, they are surrounded. So I would suggest that now you start recording the conversations. Have proof that this kind of an approach has happened. This kind of an extortion, this kind of a method has been used against you. You have been exploited. You have been virtually sacked and thrown out without any reason, without any notice, no time. Record the conversation and use it in court. It will be admissible in evidence.
Absolutely. We have to wrap up this conversation, but we will continue to talk about this. Unfortunately, I've run out of time and we have a lot of people on the phone lines. We're going to do another debate perhaps just tomorrow.
Can I say something?
Right. We've run out of time, unfortunately. We will follow this up with another conversation tomorrow at the same time where we can continue talking about this, because there are so many angles to this problem. One, companies that are completely behaving like gundas. Like there is no law that applies to you, that you can treat people like disposables, that you can move them out of their office in 15 minutes after they've given you 4, 5, 10 years of their lives. That's not fair. The manner in which it is being done, the number of jobs that we're losing, the number of jobs that are not being created. Where are these people going to go? How are they going to pay their EMIs? How are they going to pay their school fees? How are they going to run their homes? What happens to us as an economy if so many people from the services sector who are in the age bracket of 35 to 40, who are making as much money as they were making, who are fueling this money back into our economy through consumption, what happens to our economy if that suddenly stops? Who is accountable? And where are the jobs going to come from? We're going to continue this conversation tomorrow at the same time here on the Urban Debate. A quick wrap on this particular conversation. Thanks for watching.